Hello students, my name is Arpita Bhattacharya. Today I will discuss on a topic of nationalism in India, and the topic is reason behind the civil disobedience movement. This topic is the part of class 10 history syllabus. Okay, so first we need to know about what is civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is the active professed refusal of a citizen to obey certain laws, demands, order, or command of a government. Civil disobedience is sometimes equated with peaceful protest or non-violence resistance. In India, the civil disobedience movement was introduced by Gandhi, and he made it one of the major weapons of anti-colonial movement during 1930 to 32. After abrupt end of non-cooperation movement, there was no nationwide protest was organized by Congress or Indian National Congress up to 1930. During this period, Congress even went through trouble because party was disintegrated and Swaraj party was formed, and there was no such issue which could unite people of India for a nationwide movement. But at the end of the decade, few incidents forced Gandhiji to plan a large-scale mass agitation against colonial rule. The factors which were responsible for the civil disobedience movement is our topic of discussion. One by one, we will discuss about the factors which actually instigated public agitation and helped Gandhiji to organize civil disobedience movement. The first factor was the effect of the Great Economic Depression on Indian agrarian economy. Due to the worldwide economic depression, agricultural price began to fall from 1926 onwards and collapsed after 1930, which was the worst year of the Great Depression. The demand for agricultural goods fell both in domestic and in international market, and therefore export of Indian agricultural product declined during this time. In such a situation, our peasants failed to sell their harvest and to repay their loan and to pay revenue to the colonial government. By the end of 1930, the countryside of India was in great turmoil. Students, you have to understand that our peasants at the time of colonial era were very poor. They had to depend on local landowners and moneylenders for the capital that they need to invest in agriculture. Every year they all the peasants had to loan money from the usurer or local moneylenders or from the landowners, and therefore they invest those loans to purchase the seeds and other equipment that they require for the cultivation. And when they cultivated the crop, their harvest product, they used to sell into the market, and therefore they repay the loan, or at least they repay the interest, and therefore they also pay the high rate of revenue which was actually imposed by British government. But if they fail to sell their product, their agricultural crops or vegetables to the domestic and international market, then it was difficult for them to repay the loan or to pay the revenue. But the landlords and local moneylenders were very cruel, and they forced them to repay, and that is why at the end of 1930, lots of farmers, they lost their house and their crop field to the moneylenders, and the condition became worse. And in the villages, the farmers were very angry with the thing, and definitely in such a situation, Gandhiji knew that if he launched a movement, he will definitely get support from the peasants and the villager. So definitely the Great Economic Depression or Great Depression that started before 1928, but from 1929 to 32 were the worst era. That definitely ruined our agrarian economy, and definitely forced Gandhiji to take a measure, to force British government to take a reformist measure, take a welfare measure for the people of India so that the farmer can survive. Otherwise, it was not possible for our farmers to repay the revenue. So that was definitely one reason that made people angry with the British government, and definitely that inspired Gandhiji to launch a nationwide movement. But this is the one factor. The next factor I will discuss now. The second factor was the Simon Commission. Against such economical crisis caused by the Great Depression, the British government formed a statutory commission under the chairmanship of Sir John Simon, which is popularly known as the Simon Commission. The commission was created in response to the Indian national movement. The main purpose of this commission was to review the constitutional provisions and make some necessary changes following the demand of Indian nationalists. But the problem arises because there was no Indian member in the commission. No Indian nationalist leader or scholars were invited to take part in the commission. That actually made angry our nationalist leader, our Indian nationalist leaders and scholars, and the high profile people, and even the common educated people of the nation protested against such racial act of British government. They demanded that if a committee is formed for the necessary constitutional changes for the people of India, then there must be at least one or two representative from the Indian population. They can be the Congress leader or any other nationalist leader or any scholar, but just because no Indian were included in the commission, that is why most of the Indian nationalist organization, whether Congress or Muslim League or any other organization, they boycotted the commission, they refused the commission. When Simon Commission, means along with all 7 members of the commission, they reached to India, they were not greeted gracefully. They were greeted with the slogan, Simon, go back Simon, and they were showed the black flag, and therefore the commission failed to do its duty. It became inactive, and therefore all the members went back to Britain. So there was a total failure of Simon Commission, and against the Simon Commission, people of India became very angry. They find that the situation was very racial. The British Parliament was not taking account of our leaders, our nationalist leaders. So the agitation regarding the Simon Commission made situation more complicated. Situation became worse when the then Viceroy Lord Irwin decided to give India dominion status. Just because Simon Commission failed, to supplement the situation, Irwin said that India will be given the dominion status, but for the indefinite period. They were not confirmed that for how many years it will be dominion, but they were not agreed to give full freedom to India. The Gandhiji's concept was full Purna Swaraj, or the full freedom. So that was not given by the parliament. They were always try to avoid the demand of full freedom. Rather, they want to supplement our demand with the dominion status. Dominion status means you will given certain special power, so that regarding few issues, the people of India, the Indian local government can take their own decision. That means a partial power or a partial parliamentary and constitutional power that will be given to our rulers or to our nationalist leaders. But dominion status was not the pure supplement of the full freedom. When we get the full freedom, we can make our own government, our democratic government. Regarding the dominion status, you can form a regional government, or you can say provincial government, and you will given certain special power, so that regarding special issues the you can make your own law. But the proposal of dominion status was refused by all the nationalist organization, whether it's Congress or Muslim League or anyone, and therefore Congress decided to again launch a large scale movement in demand of Purna Swaraj or full freedom. The next is Lahore Congress, though this is not the reason behind the civil disobedience movement, but definitely the Lahore Congress is an important factor that boosted up the civil disobedience movement or created a pavement, a platform for civil disobedience movement. Just because the radical leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru or Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose of Congress party were very dissatisfied with the behavior of British government regarding the demand of the nationalist leader of India, their Simon Commission or their dominion status, whatever they were proposing to improve the condition of India, it was not at all satisfying for our nationalist leader like Jawaharlal Nehru or Subhash Chandra Bose. So they decided to launch a movement for full freedom or Purna Swaraj, and for that during the Lahore Congress session, the pledge has been taken that the Indian nationalist organization, whether Congress and others, will fight to their last breath for the freedom of India. And that is why the Lahore Congress session is very important. The final factor was the Salt Act. At the time, British had the monopoly over salt manufacturing and selling. Gandhiji decided to break that salt law as the beginning of civil disobedience movement as a part of his Satyagraha or non-violence movement, which he wanted to start at the beginning of 1930 after the demand of Purna Swaraj has been passed in Lahore Congress. Though at that time salt was not the main problem which Indians were facing under the British rule. Yet, it was chosen to symbolize the start of civil disobedience movement because salt was deemed as something on which each Indian had the basic right. And moreover, Salt Satyagraha, the idea of salt Satyagraha definitely attracted the attention of underprivileged and poor people. For them, definitely paying tax or high price for salt was a financial burden, particularly when India was one of the major victim of the Great Depression, the acute financial crisis, which actually gradually destroying our agricultural life or our agrarian society. At this point, the Salt Satyagraha definitely inspired more and more common people to take part in anti-colonial movement. So the Salt Act, which was obviously enacted far ago of civil disobedience movement, it is around 1880s the act was actually passed. This particular Salt Act became a major factor for motivating more and more people, to inspiring more and more people to take part in civil disobedience movement. And therefore Gandhiji broke the salt law and started the civil disobedience movement. In civil disobedience movement, the major target was to break the oppressive law which was forcefully imposed upon Indians by the British government. So those laws were considered very discriminating and obviously unjustified. So those laws Gandhiji said you can break. And that is why the Salt Act definitely became a factor for the beginning of civil disobedience movement. So in my next video, I will discuss the nature of the civil disobedience movement and its influence, its effect on our society, our political life, particularly in our anti-colonial movement. Thank you.